Marion Fellows.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillon. It's a real pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I want to thank and congratulate the honourable member for Cardiff South and Penarth for achieving this debate. We're now, and I'm sorry if I repeat, but as the honourable member has already said, we have all been repeating and repeating and repeating since I came to Parliament about the state of the British steel industry. We've had good news in Scotland. We had a Scottish Steel Task Force, and the former Tata plants are now in the hands of Liberty Steel, and at the moment, indeed, are recruiting for more workers. So it is a fairly good news story from Scotland, but that's only thanks to the fact that the Scottish Government put steel at the heart of their industrial strategy and have an industrial plan. Now, what we are now, the situation we now face, is probably one of the most difficult in our post-war history. What we do now will have serious consequences for our future. The pound is plummeting and investments going elsewhere. And this experiment with a EU referendum to satisfy Tory backbenchers has completely backfired. And it's now apparent that there is no plan. There is no industrial plan, there is no industrial strategy, but there is no plan for going forward with Europe. Where will the UK be in terms of European status? Will we completely Brexit? Will we be part of the European Free Trade Association? What will happen? We don't know. I know that there is a serious plan in Scotland. I know the First Minister is working tirelessly with her Cabinet and with other Scottish officials to speak to European partners because, as we all know, Scotland voted to stay in, and we want to be in Europe. We are European to our very core. Moving on, I want first of all to completely refute what's been said about the Aberdeen Western Peripheral Road. Can I inform the Chamber that the subcontract for steel reinforcement has recently been awarded to BRC, which is situated just outside my constituency, and that's the UK's largest supplier of steel reinforcement. The steel for this contract is produced in Newport. Some of this steel requires cutting, and this is undertaking in Newhouse, which has the postal address of Motherwell, but unfortunately isn't in my constituency. It's in Airdrie and Shot's constituency. Indeed, all steel for the Aberdeen Western Peripheral Route project has thus far been procured and processed from suppliers based in the UK. And more generally, over £350 million worth of subcontracts have been awarded for the Aberdeen Western Peripheral Route project. Of this, £115 million has actually been sourced in Scotland itself. Yes, certainly.
I find that clarification very helpful, but could you say where the steel was actually manufactured? Not where it was processed, or where it was actually created?
Could I say that we don't manufacture steel in Scotland, but that goes back to the Tories in 1992, when they closed Ravenscraig. We roll steel in Scotland. We deal with plate. May I? I'm sorry, the honourable gentleman's chuntering from a sedentary position. I hope I can continue. Right. Yeah, thank you.
Carry on, Marion Fellows.
Now, from the start of the steel crisis, the Scottish Government has exhibited tremendous leadership and collective decision-making. This demonstrates what's possible when a government has the will to intervene and has the interests of the workers at heart. But most of all, what is possible when there is a clear leadership and a coherent plan. Following the result of the EU referendum, it's entirely apparent there's no plan from the UK government to how to deal with a leave vote. In fact, we're still waiting today for the change of Prime Minister, and we still don't know who will actually be in charge of the business of steel next week, tomorrow, in fact. There are real difficulties as well in the opposition, who are still infighting, who are still not moving forward. But at this point, I want to pay complete and absolutely sincere tribute to those members of the opposition who have been fighting day and night for their constituents and for their steel industry. I cannot say highly enough what I've learned from them and what I have learned how best to do stuff to move forward the steel industry in Scotland, half of which is based in my constituency. Tata Steel problems as no doubt the honourable member for Afan will speak later, there are real issues there, and all this uncertainty is making the whole situation in Porthcawl really, really much more difficult than it needs to be. Can I implore the Minister to try to move things forward and to actually make a difference to the steel industry? The things they've done almost, had to be pushed, prodded, shoved, everything to get anything done. And there are still serious serious difficulties with energy costs, rates, and all the other things that were still in place and still causing difficulty a year ago. I commend the Government and the Scottish Government for moving forward on procurement. That is absolutely essential and is absolutely priority. But procurement is about stuff that happens in the future. What we need for steel in the UK overall is action now.
Here, here.